All right, this is a demonstration about how to put together the pieces of your book. You should have in the sandwich bag that you were given 2 pieces of mat board like this, a piece of mat board like this, which is a piece of book cloth. It's kind of got a textured side and a more smooth side. And then you'll have your long strip of paper you were given. And you should have your completed watercolor background with black patterns on top of it for this step in our process. So the very first thing that we need to do is use our glue from our art kits that you were given. We're just going to use the stick glue that was in your art kit. And we're going to glue our paper designs, our patterns, to our book covers so that we can use that as the outside of our book so that it will look something like this. This is the book cloth and this is the cover. You'll fold the paper on the inside to fit this way. We'll go through all those steps. So in order to do this, first you want to have these cut. Your patterns with your watercolor should be cut into 2.75 by 2 inch squares. Then you're going to put glue on your mat board. It doesn't matter if you put the glue on the glittery side or on the white side. It's not going to make a difference because we're really not going to see either of them when we're finished. So I'm going to apply a pretty thick layer of glue all over the mat board. And that's enough. You don't have to go over it more than once, but that's enough. Then you're going to take your piece of paper and you're going to put the mat board flush with one of the edges of the paper and then even on these 2 sides. So it's going to be pushed all the way to one side and then even on these 2, and then there will be extra on this side. We do the same thing for the other side of our cover. You have a front and a back cover for a book. I'm going to lay this face down and push the mat board even with that edge, flush with the edge, apply pressure. Now, just like when we did our art books in class, we're going to cut this corner off so that when we fold these over, they won't overlap each other. So I'm going to that. You can throw these away. All right, now we need to fold these and glue them just like we did with our art books. So I'm going to put glue all along that edge, all along this edge, and this edge. Fold and press. Fold and press, fold and press. So this is just the same so far, except that we put it flush with this edge as it is when we did our books. So now it's covered. Do the same thing with the other cover. Fold and press. Okay, now we've got both of them glued. Next step is that we're going to attach the spine between the 2 book covers using the piece of book cloth. I'm actually just ran out of glue during the demonstration, so I'm going to go run really fast and get another glue stick. All right, now we need to put the book cloth. You'll feel that there's a side that's a little bit rougher and a side that's way smoother. So we want to put the smooth side up like this because this is the side that we want to put glue on. And the way that these will be attached will be just like this. So you want to leave about 1/4 of an inch between your spine and your cover, and you want the paper to be long ways like this so that we can fold these over when we're gluing it. So this will kind of be the end process. We just need to apply glue to the book cloth and then put the mat board down and fold them over. You want to make sure that the strip you have of book cloth is going this direction, not this direction, because then we don't have any extra to fold over if it goes that way. So make sure it's facing this way. All right, so I'm gonna put glue, fresh stick of glue on the mat board. And then I'm going to start by putting my spine in what looks like roughly the center. And then lay the board on this edge, about 1/4 of an inch away from the spine. And same thing on this edge, about 1/4 of an inch away from the spine. Now I'm going to put glue on the rest up here and down here. Fold it. And really apply pressure here to push it down really, really well. You can even kind of push it into the grooves between the spine and the front and back cover here to make sure that it's really sticking well. Do the same thing on this side, come in and sort of apply pressure to make sure that they're sticking all the way. And so you can already see it's starting to look like a little book. And you'll open it up, and this is where we're gonna put our pages. So really work that in there and push, 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 until you can tell that it's sort of gripped to itself, that the glue's starting to set a little bit. You don't have to do this the whole time that it's drying, but you really want to apply pressure and work the glue to make sure that it's starting to stick before you put it down, because otherwise it might pop back up and the book cloth will remove itself from the cover. So keep kind of applying good, even pressure for a little bit, and then we can set that to the side. Now the next step that we need to work on, I'm gonna put the cap back on my glue. The next step that we need to work on is folding our paper into an accordion. We want to have each page be even, and we want to have the same number of pages. So that means we have to work from the center and then fold our way into the center. So first I'm going to fold our paper in half. And crease it pretty well. If you want to use like the scissors to make a really good crease, you can do that. Now I want to take the edge and fold it into the center crease that we already created. Same thing on this side. Take that edge and fold it in to the center. All right, now we want to fold. Now that this don't unfold, we want to take this from the middle and pull it out. Same thing here. Now, this is maybe a tricky part. We're going to take the crease here and the crease in the middle and make a little bridge and push them to each other. So this is the middle of the paper, and this is the second crease that we've created, and we're gonna push them to each other and crease this paper here. And now we'll see that that folds over. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Push these two. This is the middle on the right-hand side, and this is the left side. Push them to each other. And crease. So you can see that it's looking like this. It's just a zigzag. We're just folding it zigzag, but we're folding it in the order we're folding it so that these will be perfectly even, and we're using the entire sheet of paper. So here, what we want to start doing is, and this is the end on the right-hand side. I'm folding it, and then folding in, and then folding it, and folding in, folding it to the next crease, folding back, folding it to the next crease, folding it to the next crease, we're turning this over, fold it to the next crease and to the next. So what we have now is a perfectly spaced out accordion. And you'll see that, you know, this is the same thing that's inside of this book. And that's what you're gonna put inside of yours. So we've got these folded, and we wanna have these first flaps here and glue them to the inside of the book. That's what's gonna hold the paper here. So we're gonna put glue on the paper and stick it to the inside of the book here, and we're gonna put glue on this piece and stick it here. All right, so you wanna make sure that it's facing this direction, not this direction, because if you glue it this way, you lose a page. So you wanna make sure that when it's glued, you don't have a crease facing the outside and the edge of the paper is facing the inside. That's wrong, that's incorrect. You want it to be so that the edge of the paper is facing the edge of the book and the crease is facing the spine of the book, like this. So this is one end of the paper, and this will be the other end of the paper. Both ends are facing the outside of the book, and the first creases on the right and left side are facing the spine. So I'm going to apply a pretty hefty amount of glue. And then stick it to the inside front cover. All right, same thing here. I'm gonna apply a pretty thick amount of glue and stick it to the back cover. Now, we wanna let this dry. Everything on here is going to be drying. So you want to take a rubber band from home. It can be a hair band. I just happen to have like a regular elastic rubber band, but you could use a hair band, it doesn't matter. And you want to wrap it around the book until it's tight. Just depends on how big the rubber band is. I'm just going to wrap it twice, and this is going to help the pages dry. You could also do it this direction. You could do one go in each direction if you wanted to be extra thorough. You want to leave it like this for, I would say, at least a couple hours to let it dry. I mean, even overnight is fine. And then when you open it up, you will have a book like this, and you'll see the instructions on the next part of our bookmaking module on what to fill each page with. But we'll have a little book just like this. And all those extra materials that were in your sandwich bag that you were given when you were giving the cover and the spine, those will all be used, you know, as you need them inside of your book. Please rewatch different parts of this video if you're having trouble as you start working on this. Please do not hesitate to rewatch the video to learn a little bit more and relearn it. Maybe watch it as you work.